Suffice it to say, Dillon Brooks is not making many fans outside of Memphis. The Grizzlies forward, who has made a habit out of trying to goad LeBron James during the team's first-round series against the Los Angeles Lakers, has reportedly developed a negative reputation among players. Brooks was thrown out of the Grizzlies' Game 3 loss in Los Angeles after hitting James in the groin. While it appeared to be accidental, as Brooks sloppily went for a steal, his reputation as an agitator and for hitting players in the groin likely played a part in the decision to eject him.
I've been doing this too long. I'm making no statements. We had an opportunity to come home and play well on our home floor, and we did that. No statement was made. We just wanted to play well, and we got to win, and we want to try to do that in Game 4 as well. But I don't need to make statements.
It's rare to see jabs at James like this, and all of this is pretty comparable to what Lance Stephenson did a few years back. But NBA champion Steven Jackson likes what Brooks is doing. "I'm happy somebody want to compete and not be friends," Jackson commented on Instagram under a post from former NFL star LaShawn McCoy via NBA Central. "I love guys that want to compete. Too many players let Bron score. They want to be friends." The NBA and all sports leagues have become much more friendly over the years, but Brooks is certainly bringing the old school back. "I play with my heart. Then I gotta find a way not to get fouls on reads or transition, or when he's driving," Brooks said. "You don't use those type of fouls for LeBron and AD and the guys I'm guarding, especially when you know the referees are gonna call that tic-tacky stuff." Sure, it led him to leading the league with 18 technical fouls, which resulted in a suspension, but old school is still nice to see sometimes. Kevin Durant holds nothing but respect for him. KD recently applauded Brooks in his latest appearance on Boardroom for trying to prove himself by getting the better of other NBA stars.
And I think Dillon Brooks has really took advantage of the opportunities he has playing with a young team, has so much responsibility as a young player, being able to guard some of the best players. So you got to have some type of, I don't want to call it crazy for a lack of a better term, but you got to muster up something for you to do that every single night, to be asked to be guard the best players every night, and also, be an integral part of the offense. So yeah, he sometimes he takes it too far, but it's just a part of the role he has to play for his team. And we've seen so many players in the history of the game that we all love for doing the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it is who he is, and he's standing on that, and I can respect it.
Brooks has racked up 18 technical fouls, the most by any player this season. That being said, KD feels that the Grizzlies forward needs to prove his worth, not only with on-court antics, but also with numbers.
I think he's mentally figuring out, all right, this is what I want to be in this league, and I'm going to prove it every time I step out on the floor. Yeah, sometimes he talk a little shit to me, and I'm like, yo, just chill tonight. But I can respect that he bringing that energy to the game every time he play. At least it's not no front with him. We say so much little slick shit to each other throughout the game that it's not really a big deal when it's over with. It's just a part of the dialogue. Sometimes you don't even know what you're saying. It just comes out.
The Suns superstar concluded, "While Brooks might be on the hit list of stars like Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, Klay Thompson, he's not on KD's. The two have had their fair share of back and forths in the past, but looking back on it, Durant has nothing but respect for Dillon. Surely the Grizzlies were all hyped to face a team that became their nemesis last season, but Klay and co were all set to welcome Memphis to their home in what was already speculated to be a fiery contest." Ja had previously expressed his excitement and desire to avenge the loss to the Warriors in the Western Conference semifinals last season, and claimed that his teammates were ready to take down the defending champions. Midway through the game, Klay shot a three against Dillon Brooks, only to watch him get floored afterward. Klay taunted Brooks on his way back to the defensive zone, and got a technical foul for that. But Thompson had his reasons, as before the game, Brooks had voiced his ability to guard Klay and eventually take the Warriors down. Klay didn't just respond with actions, he threw in a champion's message to the young one.
Man, they was talking about dynasty and all that. You can't talk dynasty when you haven't won before.
Since making an impactful return from injury, a player who hadn't ever received a technical foul in his life has now garnered 2 of them this season. Klay had a verbal spat with Devin Booker and the Suns earlier in the season, and has now turned his attention to Brooks. Klay's competitive fire is often underappreciated, but the Warriors will take it any day of the week. Seems like Klay Thompson is that guy. Draymond Green and Dillon Brooks are two people who will just never like each other. Every single time the opportunity arises, they will find a way to take a shot at each other. And it happened again. On an episode of the Draymond Green podcast, Green unexpectedly took a savage shot at Dillon Brooks when speaking to his guest Lauri Markkanen. While praising Lauri, Green unexpectedly mentioned that he couldn't have a guest like Dillon Brooks on his show.
My brother, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, man. You're welcome back anytime. You know, I try to go by this thing, man, and yet I don't want to alienate anybody because we're always appreciative of all guests. But I always say, man, you got to have a little resume to come on the Draymond Green show. You know, you can't just be some guys out here talking and, you know, getting interviews and stuff. Like, you got to have a resume. You can't be Dillon Brooks or something, man. So I appreciate you coming on the show, my brother.
What makes things even more fun is that the Golden State Warriors and Memphis Grizzlies have had their banter throughout the season, and this could continue for years to come. With Donovan Mitchell, things went from bad to worse in a game when he got involved in a scuffle with Brooks after the latter elbowed the Cavaliers' star in his groin in the third quarter. Following the victory over the Grizzlies, Spida addressed the altercation and talked about his true relationship with the 27-year-old shooting guard.
That's just who he is. You know, we've seen it a bunch in this league with him. Him and I have had our personal battles for years. Quite frankly, I've been busting his for years. Playoffs, regular season.
Mitchell also revealed what triggered him to shove Dillon on the floor and start the ugly on-court altercation, giving true insights about how he and perhaps other players in the league feel about Brooks.
This has been brewing for years. With me, with other guys in the league, and you all see it. You know, it's not something that this isn't new. And you know, tonight was just the end of it. But it's tough when you can't guard somebody and can't do something with somebody. You got to resort to that, and that's what he's done to a lot of players. You know, I'm glad my guys held it down tonight, and you know, had my back. You know, throughout the whole thing.
With 5 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Mitchell shoved Brooks on the floor after the latter tried to elbow the Cavs star in his groin. Donovan even threw the ball at Dillon before shoving him to the ground. Both players were eventually ejected. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. What do you think about Dillon Brooks? Is he a villain in the NBA? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Oh, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing NBA videos.